Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey, and today we are actually going to go after something that's been around a long time. I even had it on display here numerous times. It goes back to the beginning of my reviews, so well, not quite to the beginning, but it certainly goes back a ways, and it was launched in, I'm thinking, was it 2018 or was it 2019? But anyways, regardless, Aerolite Lyndsay. Aerolite Lyndsay, what is it? Well, to start off with, Aerolite Lyndsay is an anagram for 10-year-old Islay. If you take an anagram and switch the letters around, and we get 10-year-old Islay. So there it is, Aerolite Lyndsay, 10-year-old Islay. Other than that, it's produced by the Character of Islay Whiskey Company, which is part of Adam Brands. Now, when I first looked at this, I thought it was a small kind of bottling company, and and yeah, nice. It's got a kind of a nice label, nice looking carrying canister there, and as you can see, it's good and solid like that. Now, first impressions was, it's some kind of small company, and then I started doing some research on it and find out, oh, this company is connected with Master of Malt. So I'm reading reviews of Master of Malt, and of course you have the Sam Simmons, Dr. Sam Simmons video on this particular brand, and there's, you know, as Ralphie would say, there's a lot of flannel about the whiskey, but it tells you nothing about it other than I think it was 70 to 80% ex-bourbon, yeah, 25%, somewhere around there, of quarter cask sherry casks, 5% mystery. So there we are, something like that. I'll get the exact specs. I'll put them down on the video there. But anyways, that's it, and it's from Islay. So I ended up purchasing this. I was down at the Straths in Victoria, and it was Adam Bradshaw. I was talking to him, and he basically, I think I just bought a bottle of another bottle of Kalila, but this was the Gordon MacPhail from the Strath, and I was thinking, really kind of like the Kalilas. I've had Kalilas before. It'd be nice to get a little more strength in it, and he handed me this. So I just assumed that it was a Kalila. Now, after doing some research, yes, there's been a few writers, reviewers that have said, yeah, it's got to be a Kalila, because Kalila is this massive distillery, the biggest on Islay, and they're the only ones that have this, you know, this excess whiskey. Which, after a while, I'm doing lots of research. That's a guess. That's just a guess, and most reviewers will tell you they're guessing. So there's lots of distilleries that this could have come from. Not all the distilleries. Some of them, you know, are going to be, you know, very limited. So I'm going to say that some of the smaller distilleries, for sure, are not going to be having excess whiskey, and also to be priced way above what this is priced at. So because this is under $100 Canadian. But anyways, that's enough said about it. I sort of showing you some of the other distilleries on the island here. I mean, it's not Booney, I don't think, because they don't make a lot of peated whiskey to be able, not excess amount of peated whiskey. This is a non-peated Booney. So there wouldn't be all that whiskey available to sell to these guys. They could rebottle it and sell it for even less than what they would sell it for. Bowmore, possibly at Bowmore, or maybe possibly Lafroig, possibly, you know, possibly. The word possibly. I doubt Lagavulin, possibly an Ardbeg, maybe possibly even a Port Charlotte, you know, the Brookladdick. I mean, I'm just going by price with Lagavulin. I just don't see the price of this and what you'd be paying for a 10-year-old in this, and even if it's rebottled and they get it for a better deal and whatever. Who knows? I mean, they're producing a lot more whiskey now. So let's kind of leave it as a mystery. Let's look at the bottle. It is non-chill filtered, and it is natural color, and it's 46%. That's the good news, okay? Lots of reviews on this. I've read numerous people trying to analyze where it's from. It'll continuously be a mystery. You know, is that they do the Strath does a bottling. That boutique company, they do a few bottlings. I've got a few of them there. One's a 24-year-old Speyside whiskey too. That was at a pretty good price, exclusive to the Strath. But this boutique company is also owned by the same company, Adam Brands, and the connection with this is they're part of what is it here? They're part of the AB InBev Corporation, which is the largest brewing company in the world. Now they've just been acquired by ZX Ventures, so they've joined in on the in the investment as a marketing group. So it's a huge company, is what I'm getting at. It's a big company. So let's get into a pour of Aerolite Lyndsay. So my misconceptions of some small company, no, this is a monster. And again, there's probably not a lot to see here because it's naturally colored, it's clear, and I don't know, I always like to look at legs if we get a chance here. So let's just look at some legs here and just see if you can see the legs. I'll put my hand behind it there. Sometimes that helps a little bit. And I will twirl it. And there you are, the legs. So, the nose. Right off the bat, identify Islay, medicinal, and some seaweed. I got this one a while back, the burnt paprika notes. And I always mention my Haley Hansen rubber boots, and how about inner tube rubber? And I'm getting, again, that beach fire. Okay, now that is typical Islay notes, the palate. Here's body there. You can see, yes, I've drank a bit of this, and I've been battling for the last few years trying to identify. Is it a Kalila? Is it a Bowmore? Who knows? They're adding, there's 3 different casks. There's one mystery cask thrown in here. And so between the ex-bourbon and the sherry cask are quarter casks, by the way. And the mystery cask, we don't know, I haven't got a clue what that is. So, undisclosed distillery. And it does say single malt, so it's one distillery. So, leaves a good coating on the mouth. So we're definitely getting the smoky, kind of like a smoky pork. Let's go a little bit farther than that. Smoky kippers and pork. And there is some lemon, there is some sweetness, pepper, and getting a little bit of the little bit of oregano. We don't usually get that in a, but I had that come up before. It had actually come up in a Kalila too. So I'm going to say the sherry isn't overpowering, by the way. So the cask influence isn't overpowering, but it's not as stale as some of the reviewers. I had a few reviewers saying stale cask, dead cask. No, these casks aren't dead, but they're not a powerful influence, that's for sure. So they're not third refill, or they could be first refill, possibly a few second refill. I doubt there's third refill. Well, it's a very small percentage, so there is some wood influence there, but I'm not getting a lot of the sherry, but there is some sweetness. and a nice coating on the mouth there. So there is some body to it. We're getting a little bit of the toffee notes there. Mostly the burnt toffee. And to the finish. So again, decent coating, medium finish. It's definitely a pleasant draft. It's not overpowering like some of your Ardbegs, Lefroy. But as for the finish in that, definitely I'm getting the old burnt matchstick thing going on here. And I'm going to go back to the toffee is still there. Let's add a little water, see what happens. That's always interesting. So, as you're watching this review, and if you've had any experience with Aerolite Lyndsay, what are your comments regarding where is this distillery? Which distillery? What do you think it is? You know? Okay, and with water, the nose. I'm still getting the a little bit of the rubber. My wheelhouse, my commercial fish boat. Nice and light. And we still get the sweet notes there. That paprika is definitely there. It really came out there. And I'm going to stay with the burnt toffee first came in the nose and then it came in the palate. So let's see what the palate does with water. Well, it amplifies the sweetness as I was expecting, but it's really actually brought out a lot of the spice, the peppery notes. And I'm going to stay with the paprika, and I'm also going to stay with the sweeter toffee caramel, and a little on the burnt side, not so much. The kippers and pork there, smoked kippers and pork, it's kind of in the background. It's certainly not as prominent as it was when I first noticed them. Water doesn't hurt it. Not too much, by the way. It's a light Islay presentation as far as the peated drink. It's not overpowering. Would I go out and get another bottle? I don't know. I don't think so. I've got a lot of different presentations of peated whiskey, and I've got some off-island peated whiskey that's better priced than this that I actually prefer, like my Lechag. If I'm going to go for a light peat, I'll go for a Lechag. I like the price. It's an excellent whiskey. Buy another bottle. I would, but I wouldn't beat it up as far as I would give it a mark between an 81 and an 82 for an Islay whiskey. That's kind of where I would stay. And I would say that, you know, in terms of recommending it and that, it's a real tough one because, you know, some of you are going to really like this whiskey, by the way. But I've got Kalilas and I got Bowmores and I got these other Islay whiskeys, and I'm going to say that this is a 81-82. That's my score. It's a whiskey that I would not go back and buy myself personally, but it's not a bad whiskey. I'm going to leave it at that, and I explained to you why. Because I have a lot of good Islay whiskeys, and if I was going to go to another lighter peated, there's some really good options out there. So there you are. That's my review, and I am going to ask you to drink wisely, drink intelligently, do not drink and drive. Until the next time, so long.